Okay, today we're going to look at lesson 14, and our I can statement or learning objective is I can determine the end behavior of polynomials. So we're continuing on with our talk of polynomials in Unit 5, and we're going to look at end behavior. And so we're going to look at the vocabulary, and then we're going to make a little chart, and then we're going to do some examples together. But if you follow the notes and you make note of them, you write them down, you keep this chart handy, then your Math Excel assignment should be fairly easy. Okay, remember, as always, I'm going quicker in the video than I would in person, so feel free to pause, rewind, and watch it at your own pace. And if you have any questions or need any help at the end, don't hesitate to get back in the Google Meet, send me an email, hit Ask My Instructor, or whatever you need to do. Okay? A polynomial's end behavior just refers to how the function's graph behaves to the far left and the far right. So if you're looking at the graph, you're looking at the coordinate plane, you're going to look at the far left, see how the graph is behaving, and on the far right and see how it's behaving. And its behavior depends on that leading term. We talked about that in lesson 13. The leading term is just that first term of the polynomial when they're in standard form. It's the term that has the degree of the polynomial. If that leading term or that polynomial has an odd degree, then the ends of your graph are going to go in opposite directions. Okay, here's an example. Y equals x, that's the most basic odd degree polynomial. It's x to the first power. And when you graph that, it's a line. And so if you go to the left, then the line's going down. If you go to the right, the line's going up. So those two ends are going opposite directions. One's going up, one's going down. Okay, if that leading term or that polynomial has an even degree, that means that the ends go in the same direction. So again, we'll go to the most basic even degreed function. So x squared, we know that's a quadratic. It has a parabola. And if you look at that parabola shape, both sides, both ends are going up. So the ends are going in the same direction. So that's true of all your polynomials. If it's odd, so the degrees 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, so on and so forth, your ends are going opposite. If it's even, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, etc., your ends are going to go in the same direction. Okay, one last little note before we move on to our little chart. The maximum, I just stumbled over my words there. The maximum number of turns in a polynomial is always one less than the degree. And that's also true for the vertices. So the number of turns and the vertices are synonymous. They mean the same thing. And that's always, the maximum number is always one less than the degree. We're not going to use that much right now. We might talk about it more in depth later, but it's just an important little note to know. Okay, so here's our little end behavior chart. Because I felt like this was maybe the easiest way for you to see the information. So we look at our leading coefficient. So that's that A, or that coefficient in front of our, or in our first term. We talked about that yesterday, identifying that leading coefficient. And if it's positive, your graph is going to behave one way, and if it's negative, it's going to be another. So we already said odd degrees, the ends go in opposite directions. So up on one side, down on the other, or vice versa, okay? So if your A is positive, then if you read the graph from left to right, which is what we're used to, it's going up to the right, okay? And so if you look at your line, that might be the easiest point of reference. We know a positive slope goes up to the right, okay? And so the same is true with your other polynomials. So even if they've got the little curves in the middle, those the odd degree, those opposite ends, if your A is positive, it's going up to the right, okay? If it's a negative A, you're going down to the right. So your slope looks like a negative slope. It's going down, okay? Okay, and so here is the even degree. So if we have a positive A, a positive leading coefficient, then our even degree, our ends are going to point up. And that kind of makes sense if you think about it. If it's positive, we're going up, 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 as far as we can to infinity. So both ends are going up. If it's an even degree, both ends are going down. Let me back up. If it's a positive A, even degree, both ends are going up. If it's a negative A, even degree, both ends are going down, okay? But we talked about that when we did our quadratics. We looked at those parabolas if A was positive or A was negative. So hopefully that'll help you a little bit with the even degree. Okay, now we're going to use this information, everything that we've talked about, to do some examples from your Math Excel work, just so you can see how the problems are worded and you can see how to answer those. Okay, and as we do that, it might be helpful when you do this assignment to have some scrap paper and pencil just so you can sketch out what the graph looks like. For me, that's easier. It's easier if I can see what it looks like to answer the questions, but that's up to you. Okay, so I've printed out a sample of your homework, and I've picked some problems to talk through. Some of them have X's through them. That means I'm not going to talk through them right now, but they are on your homework. So like this one, it's asking you about vocabulary, so you just fill in the blanks. We wrote down the definition in the notes, okay? But we'll start here with number 2. So it says the graph of x cubed, blank to the left and blank to the right. So you're choosing rises and falls. So let's think, x cubed. So that's an odd degree, and it's positive. So that means it's going to look like this, okay? So to the left, it's going down. So it falls to the left, and it rises to the right, okay? So those are the blanks you're going to pick. All right, so x squared, we're doing the same thing. So it's a positive, so your ends are going up. All right, so to the left, we're going up, so it's rising. To the right, it's also rising, okay? And those, since that's even, those should both be the same, okay? So that makes sense. All right, number 4, determine the end behavior of the graph given the polynomial. So it's odd and negative. So odd means they're going opposite, negative means we're going down. So that's the overall shape, okay? So to the left, it's going up, and to the right, it's going down. So we need up and down. Okay? And that's the same kind of thing you're doing for the whole assignment. So and it helps me to sketch out the graph so I can see where the ends are going. That helps me choose the correct directions for each side. You don't have to sketch them out, but it may help you. Okay, we'll skip to number 6. It's even, so that means they're going the same direction. It's positive, so they're going up. All right, so on the left side, it's going up, and the right side is going up. So up and up. Okay, skipping to number 10. You can do this one a couple different ways. You are welcome to get a graphing calculator and type this in and choose the matching graph. Okay, you're welcome to do that. However, it might be good for you to exercise those same skills we were using. So 8 is even, so that means the ends are going in the same direction, and this is negative, so that means they're going down. So we need to pick the one that both ends are going down. Well, there's only one option, and that's C. Okay, so that might be a little bit easier and quicker than actually typing it in the calculator and looking at the graph. But you can do either one perfectly fine. Okay, we'll skip and look at number 12. Again, you can type it in the calculator and find the one that matches, or you can use your end behavior. So it's odd, so that means opposite directions, and it's even. Not even, it's positive, so that means we're going up. So opposite directions going up to the right is 8. And then our last example that we're going to look at together, again, you can graph it if you want to, or you can look at your end behavior and figure it out that way. So this is odd, so that means we're going opposite directions, and it's negative, so that means we're going down to the right. Okay, so this one looks like, from what we can see, the ends are going the same direction, so that doesn't help us. Same direction doesn't help us. All right, so this one's going up, this one's going down, so D is our answer. Okay, now you have more problems in Math Excel than what we looked at, but you're doing the same thing on all of them. Okay, I just picked out a few so you could see what to do. Like I said before, use the notes, use those definitions, use that chart to help you out to do your Math Excel work. If you get stuck or have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to help you with whatever you need. Have a great rest of your day.